Faith.
Elaine Faith Thompson. Is Faith your maiden name or your
My middle name.
Okay.
I use that name because there's other Elaine Thompsons in the world, and when you
that's a
Google
good idea.
Elaine Thompson, somebody will come up in Ellenville, New York.
Do you sign your work Elaine Faith?
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, on the certificates, the limited edition certificates is Elaine Faith Thompson.
Okay.
And website, and press releases, always Elaine Faith Thompson. So,
Okay.
okay. So.
Nice shirt.
What?
Your
Nice
shirt.
shirt.
Well, this is
yes,
one of my
yeah.
sales devices.
Good.
Yeah. Okay, so actually people say, when did I start? I didn't start until I was 5 years old as an artist, because before that I drew in the mud. I didn't have any crayons. And I went to Sayville schools and they gave me a box of crayons. And I started drawing in perspective right away. But I saw John Nagy on TV.
John
and
Nagy, yes.
he taught me how to do, let me get.
I remember John Nagy.
I do too.
Great
Yes.
dance. Remember him too?
Yeah.
He had a dance, the Mexican guy sitting on a building.
I did.
The train, Steve.
I used to wait until he finishes circles and squares and stuff, and
Yeah.
just happen to pick it.
Glass of iced tea.
I don't remember the last time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I did suction on the glass.
Yeah.
Running that,
Okay, I didn't start until I was 5 years old, because that's when I got my first box of crayons.
Oh.
And I went through the Sayville schools, but my regular teachers taught me not even only the art teachers. And my regular first grade teacher, she just died recently. She came actually to this room to see the unveiling of this painting in 2008. So then I went to SUNY Farmingdale to study graphic design and commercial art. And in 2010, I got the most outstanding alumni of the year award from the president of the college.
Yay.
So
Did you have DeSoto by any chance?
yeah,
You
DeSoto
did?
was one of my.
He was wonderful.
Yeah. So after I went to school, I got married, and I worked 1 day a week at the Penny Saver in Huntington because I had 2 little babies, one 18 months old and 3 years old. And my husband died of a heart attack. He dropped out of heart. So I worked full time. So I worked in an agency and also Penny Saver and Patchogue for a year. I said, this is no good because the kids are not with the kids.
What year was that?
1969.
Okay.
Yeah. So I started, I worked there for a year, and then I was only making $3 an hour. So I asked the boss, can I have just a little raise? Just give me a 10% an hour raise. Just give me a raise. He said no. So I said, today's my last day. I said, I'm leaving. I have to go make more money. So I went home, and the next day I said, what the hell did you do? You know, you have no job, you have no clients. But the phone started ringing. The clients from the agency started calling me. And the first one was the Suffolk County Republicans. And I got that account, and they said, well, you can do the work at home, and we'll give you $10 an hour. So I went from $3 an hour to $10 an hour.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big move.
Yeah, yeah, and then I also had Smith Haven Mall that I did their work for. They called me and they gave me that account, so for the Merchants Association.
What did you do?
I did all their advertising for their circulars, the covers, mostly the covers of the circulars that went out in the newspapers. At that time, a mall would have a whole circular with all ads from all the stores. Did all 3 malls. It grew to Smith Haven Mall, Sunrise Mall, and Walt Whitman Mall, all those malls.
Excuse me, did you have to draw pictures for it, or was it all printing?
Oh, I was an illustrator.
You did
Illustrator and
illustration.
paste up, mechanicals.
Okay.
Yeah, and designing, yeah. So, so I did a lot of political work, and then in 1987 I went to work for the town of Islip as their graphic supervisor.
That's where I knew you.
Aha,
That's
Yeah.
right.
aha, that's where the foot came in.
PR.
Yeah.
Foot in the
I
door.
remember meeting you then.
Yes, yes, I met you in the town board room.
Right.
Yeah. So I worked there for 10 years, and when I left there, I didn't leave there on my own volition. the supervisor had his own agenda to scare the town employees into no pay raise. And I was in the union at that time. I was the union rep, and he decided to knock my job out and the photographer so that he could scare the employees into agreeing to no pay raise.
Which one was that?
McGowan.
Oh,
McGowan.
well, he got his.
So I took him to federal court
Good.
in Brooklyn, yeah. So, but then after that, I was blackballed from any government work, all the way up to the federal government.
Oh, my
Could not
goodness.
get any government work at all. So I started to paint. I got my first commission. It was $10,000 for the first commission I made for a fire department, but it took a very long time. And I did not know how to paint. They asked me to do a painting, and I said, oh yeah, I can paint. I didn't know how to do it, so I took out some books, and I did do painting.
Did they tell you what to paint?
Well, I was competing against two other design firms, mural companies that were established, that went for years, that I never painted before. But why did I get the commission? Why do you think and I was $2,000 more than the other two competitors. Now, why did I get that commission?
Please
I
tell
didn't
us.
know anybody. The fire departments knew that I did a book for the Bohemian Fire Department. But the design, the layout, and they said, I was so enthusiastic, they had to give me that commission, even though they had to pay $2,000 more for that commission. So, but then the next big thing I had was this painting. Somebody told me from the state that the U.S. Open was coming to Bethpage. So they said, submit a design. So I did the painting. I thought I was going to get the official commission, and something went wrong politically behind the scenes, and Leroy Neiman got the commission. So what I did was Leroy Neiman.
He's the
Neiman.
guy.
The one who does all the sports
Yes.
posters and
Yeah,
everything?
yeah. The most famous sports artist in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you lost out to him?
Yes, but I really didn't, because his poster was in the catalog for the USGA. There were 3 million copies sent out. And I just put it out in 40 different places on Long Island, but I sent out press releases. Now this is the thing, is about a press release. I wrote a press release, and I told all about it, and well, people thought it was the official one, but actually it was designated by, it was sanctioned by the state of New York to be the commemorative post.
How did you get that commission, that sanction?
Through the pro shop, through the people in the pro shop. Yeah, yeah, and the governor wanted me to be the official. He didn't want Leroy Neiman, but somebody else wanted Leroy Neiman to be a friend of Leroy Neiman.
Who was the governor? Cuomo?
Governor Pataki.
Kentucky?
Yeah, and I met with him in his office in Manhattan, and I gave him the #1 print there. So then I went on to do the other posters, but each time it was a fight to get to do them. So getting on to the business of art. Now you have your first sheet of paper here, which is selling and promoting your art. This is going to be like a class.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Okay.
Now, a lot of the things that I learned from books. I bought books. Now this, I'll pass this around. This is a fantastic book. It also has a CD in the back where you can put the CD in and write the business forms and customize them to your artwork. You know, like there's, if you want to be commissioned to do a painting, there's a form on the CD where you can just put that in your computer, save as, and put the name of your painting in there, and it's a legal document that a lawyer would have drawn up, but it's a legal document and you're covered. And I'll pass this book around. Let me just take these 3 pages here. So, number one, you've got to create a professional image, your appearance. If you look like you are accomplished and you look like you've done a great, you had a good time in the art field and your appearance is good, people respect you more. And talk about yourself when you talk to the customer. And if they come to your studio, make sure your studio is not a wreck. Just put everything back in the bedroom and just have it nice and neat and in the studio, because that's your image. Now, your business card is the most important selling tool you have.
That's excellent.
I'll pass some of these around so you can see
Arts
what it
are
looks
not
like.
usually very
I sold,
Let me see the name.
you pass these around.
We got a lot of stuff.
I sell from this card all the time. I fold it in half and it fits in people's pocket. It cost me 4 cents each, but
Wow.
it's my best selling tool. And I designed it so that you just fold it in half, right here. It's got everything on there, all my images. It has my website.
Where did you get it printed?
I have it on that sheet. It has all the printing contacts on it.
Yes, that's cheap.
4 cents
That's
each.
cheap.
Well, I print 5,000 at a time.
5,000.
Yeah. Yeah, one in each of these folders.
This is a good idea.
Okay, so the business, the only time you don't have your business card is when you're in the shower. Because then it gets wet. But if you're going into the bank, always have, the way you do it is you have a coat or a pants with a pocket. And you keep the business cards in the left pocket. And you shake the hand with the right hand, and you ask the person for their business card. They give you the card, and then you take the card out of your other pocket and say, well, here's my card. Give everyone your business card. And say, well, you may not want a piece of artwork right now, but during the year, if you want to print for a birthday, just keep me in mind, or for holidays, for corporate giving, just keep me in mind. People keep those business cards forever. So that's really important. And then I also produced the note cards. I sold out in Southampton $700 worth of note cards at a 2-day show.
Wow. Excellent.
That's when I first came out with these note cards. Now the note cards on the back have a history of whatever the Long Island scene is, but the last paragraph is my sales pitch of my business and my contact information. So each one is signed, and they can print it out in their computer, and it has a envelope. So I order those from psprint.com. It's on that second sheet, psprint.com. And the more you print, the cheaper they are. Okay, so putting yourself on paper. You write your resume, your credentials. What have you done over your lifetime? What shows you've been in, or what accomplishments you had, with a photo of yourself. And when you're displaying your art, put the resume out. Or if you're going to send out a press release, you can attach the resume. Or if you're pitching somebody, a lot of times, I don't remember to put the resume out, and people will ask me for the resume. Where's your background information? They want to know about the artist. They want to have a connection with the artist. They want to have a personal connection with the artist. So when you present your work, get someone else to say good things about you. You can't brag. You can't say, oh, I'm the greatest artist in the world. One of the best things that I ever had, the best quote, was from a Newsday reporter that said, well, ElaineThompson's work is just like Norman Rockwell's.
Oh, wow.
This reporter said that. So that's a quote, is that so-and-so said this, or a reporter, or some, somebody said something, but not coming from you, coming from somebody else. Now, when you present your artwork, don't just put any old frame on it. The frame has to go with the work. This is my best-selling frame of this. You pass this around. This frame goes with this work. But I also offer other frames if they want a different frame. So I make the frames. My husband makes the frames and I put it all together. So it's important that you just don't throw any old frame on there. This is a very popular frame right now because everybody likes Pottery Barn, black and white, just plain frame. This is a hot selling frame. Let me pass this around. But I do have, in the beginning I used to do like gold frames. Gold frames are out now.
They're out now.
Unless it goes with somebody's decor, unless they have French provincial or traditional furniture or mahogany. But you offer them choices on frames. So I deal direct with the framing factory over in Hop Decor. That's why you need a sales tax number. In order to buy framing materials, they have a place called the Garage. And it's dusty in there. That's why they call it the Garage. I don't know. These leftover pieces, you can touch them up with some paint or putty, and they're just like new, and you can get frames for $2 or $3 there if you have a low budget on them. So, brochures and your portfolio. I had a single brochure on this original one. But you don't have to have a brochure. The card is sufficient. But if you haven't anything printed, like if you're having the card printed or you're having cards printed, always check twice. Double proof and have somebody else read it. I remember I was doing an ad once for Smith Haven Mall incorporated with Walt Disney World down in Florida. And I had to do an illustration of the castle and Mickey Mouse in this ad, and I spent a long time on it. Smith Haven Mall, everybody there looked at it, they proofread it and all. Then it went to Newsday. This is a full-page ad. It's a lot of money. Went to Newsday. Somebody in the production room, a little man down in the production room said, and it was also Santa Claus's arrival was coming at the same time. Friday isn't the 23rd. Friday is the 25th. But he caught it. So once it's printed, it's done. So always double check. What? Proofread.
Which printers do you use?
Which printers do I use?
Yes.
Well, I use psprint.com. There's several printers on Long Island. Coral Color. There was Official Offset in Farmingdale. For each one, I decide which. Actually, when you want a big printing job like this, you get 3 bids. When I worked for the town of Islip, I always got 3 bids, even though it wasn't at the dollar figure that you had to get 3 bids. It keeps the printers competitive. So I always got 3 bids on the jobs. So, but always, this is under number 4, proofread twice. Another thing is create a portfolio. Some of these shows that you go into, you could, I do car shows now, and people want to see portfolios of the car paintings I've done. I haven't done many, but I just have a few. So bring it like a little loose leaf with your pictures in there. I usually bring my note cards. And
Did you just do the vet?
What?
Did you just do a vet?
Did I do an event?
You brought one of your paintings with the car.
Yeah, I did the Corvette. Yeah, I went to Bayport Aerodrome, and you see, another thing is I have a lot of perseverance. You have to have perseverance. You really have to, you have to, don't give up. Keep trying and trying. So I found out about this. It was a triple show: car show, motorcycle show, and plane show. I said to my brother, that'd be a good show for me to go in. So I looked online, I checked it out, and I called the guy up. And the guy's name was Mudfish.
Wow.
Mudfish, who's running the show. He said, well, we're not letting any vendors in. We're not letting any vendors in. We're just having cars, planes, and motorcycles. I said, well, I paint cars, and I did the U.S. Open, and I said, I just want to sit there and work on a painting. He says, we'd be honored to have you there. So he let me in, and I set up, and I think I got 3 commissions out of that show. No vendors were in there at all. So, but he said, you can't sell there. He said, you can get a commission, you know, don't bring no cards or anything like that. So I said, okay. So at the end of the show, and another thing is, I never, ever leave the show before the closing time, art show. I even stay minutes later, sometimes a half hour later. All the vendors come around and buy from me then, because they're doing a show, or people that are in the cars, then they come around and they buy from me. In fact, I had a sale at the aerodrome from that. I was packing up, and a guy said, oh, you have any more of those no cards there? I said, yeah. And I just dropped whatever I was doing, and he said, that's my car over there. I said, that's your car over there? I said, I had that car. That was my first car, 1954 Chrysler. He said, I'd like you to do the painting for my daughter. And I said, oh, that's good. So the wife says, well, how much is it? He says, it doesn't matter. Yeah, he says, it doesn't matter. So I have to go on that one there. So that's the most important thing, is I always, every single show, sell after the end of the show. Because people that have been running around or people that are late always come to me. My husband was always very anxious to, let's pack up, everybody else is packing up. I said, I don't care what anybody else is doing. I said, watch me, I will sell another picture or painting before the end of the show, and it happens every single show. So don't pack up. Another thing is, when you're doing a show, don't chit-chat with people, casual conversation. You're there to meet the customer. Don't have your back to the audience, ever. Always be welcome to meet people. Friends stop by, they want to chit-chat, tell you about graduation, tell you about this. Meanwhile, the customer is aggravated and they walk away because you're not paying attention to them, you're not talking to them. I just say, excuse me, hi, I'm ElaineThompson, you know, here's my artwork or whatever. So that's very, very important with a show. I mean, I've seen people at shows, they're texting. Even at Art Expo in the city, or the big shows that I go to, I'm not in the shows at the Dick Devitt, they're texting, they're not paying attention to me. And I might have wanted to buy something there, and I just walk away. I just walk away. Okay, now,
I got a
who
question
is,
for you. What kind of price range you sell those horror shows, like the Corvette painting you did?
they start at $2,000 here. Okay, who is a collector? There's all kinds of collectors of art. There's the beginner, there's the individualists, and the ones that I buy what I like. There's a social collector, what everyone else is buying. And then there's the investor, the big money guy. There's commercial institutions, and at that show at the aerodrome, one guy came to me. He was back behind some people. He was afraid to come over to talk to me. I'm just sitting there pretending to paint because I have to concentrate when I'm painting, but it attracts people. Sit there and paint. You can't concentrate because they want to talk to you. But they don't know you want to talk to them. You're not interested in painting that day. They just want to, you know, that. So a guy was behind a row of people that were waiting to talk to me. And he just had an old T-shirt on. And don't judge a book by its cover. This guy had an old T-shirt on, and he was standing in the background, and then he walked away with a group of people. So I didn't even approach him. But I kept him in the back of my head. And at the end of the show, just before the end of the show, he came by and he said, how much for Gillette of these pieces of work, and I showed him the note cards. How much for Gillette, big blow-ups and all. He said, I'm building a nursing home and I need prints for that. That's a good one. So you never know. You know, somebody may come, I have a home studio and a home gallery. Somebody comes asking about one thing, they may be interested, they'll look around and they'll see other things. And I don't know that.
It's like a store.
Yeah, it is like a store, you've been there.
It's like a store,
Yeah,
yes.
they walk around and they buy 3 things. What?
No, Elaine, you're right about don't judge a book by its cover.
Right.
That Ian Schrager with Steve Rubell, they had a Studio 54. Right now, Ian Schrager is building hotels all over the world. And he always walked around with a pair of dungarees and a t-shirt. In the meantime, people didn't realize that he's very, very wealthy.
Well, a lot of, you know, I don't know if I told you the story. I was over at Davis Park. I'm waiting on my boat for boat races, and I had no cards, and I said to my husband, I'm not just going to sit around, I'm going to go make some money. He said, what are you doing? I said, there's a bench over there. I'm going to lay out my cards, and I'm going to sell cards for the next hour. He said, you're not going to sell anything. I said, yeah, I'm going to sell some cards. I'll put the nice tablecloth out, and I'll put the cards and some small matted prints out there. Go, he says. Come back in an hour. So he's selling some prints, some little prints and things. This little girl comes bopping along in her bathing suit. She's about 5 or 6 years old. No pocketbook. That means she has no money. No parent. So she says, oh, I really like your art. My husband said, what are you talking to this kid for? I said, look, she's interested in my art. So I'm talking to her about the art, and I was talking to her like she was an adult, but she was talking like she was an adult. And she said, you know, my mother would love your stuff. How long are you going to be here? I said, I'll be here for only a half hour. So she ran down the boardwalk, and about 10 minutes later, she's running back with a handful of money. And she says, okay, now, I want one of these, give me one of those, one of those. 2 weeks ago, I went to Patch, that was, you know, like 5, 6 years ago. I was in Patchogue talking to a Catholic school, teaching them about business. In the middle of the room, there's this little girl with eyeglasses on. She says, weren't you over at Davis Park selling the note cards on the boardwalk? She said, I bought all your artwork. She was a little girl. Okay, now, so you never know who the people are going to be, but always give them your card, but first ask them for your card. Okay, so that's about, the next thing is about care and feeding of collectors. Collectors are everywhere. They're at parties, exhibits, whenever you go to a party at somebody's house. You know, don't be too pushy, because your art sells itself. Fundraisers, you can recognize them. They kind of like art. You can meet them at community groups. I meet a lot of big money people at networking groups, like women's groups out on the east end of Long Island, or when they have trade shows over at Suffolk Community College. There's trade shows there. I meet people there. Professional groups, politics. You meet a lot of people in politics if you get involved in politics, and keep in touch with them. And then you can have an exhibit. You can have an exhibit in your home. You can have an exhibit in a patron's home. Somebody who has bought your artwork, ask them if you can have an exhibit in their home to sell prints, and then give them a piece of art for allowing you to, and then public shows. So for those shows, you have to, the big collectors send them out a written invitation, and then publicity. Whenever you're in a show, or I came out with a new painting, I create a new story. There's a press release there that I gave you. But it has to be news. It can't sound like you're selling something. It has to be something new that came out, or a commemorative event, or something the first paragraph in the press release has to be able to separate it from the rest of the press release and have it sustain itself by itself. Time, place, what's happening. But the headline has to grab the reporter. It has to be interesting. It has to be something that makes them want to. They get 100 press releases a day.
Car crashes.
What?
Car crashes.
Yeah. Well, so you have to stand out from the other 100 press releases. And in the first line, it has to really grab them. And then you elaborate in the middle paragraph, and then there's a closer at the end. But you always have to have your contact information, 24-hour contact information. Very important. Now, my intention is selling art. I'm not a hobbyist. I've always sold art. I became a professional when I was 15 years old. So, I mean, I came from a poor family, so I had to make money. So I've always had that mindset to be a professionalist. Now with the pricing, you have to give them a price. Don't say, I don't know. I always put prices on the paintings. Whenever I'm at a show, I always put prices on everything. Do you ever go in a store and see no prices? So how aggravated you get and you just walk out. I'm not going to ask them the price of every single thing in that store. So if it has a price on it, and then they may want to get you down on price. They say in the books, you're not supposed to come down on price. You're supposed to say it's a good painting, it's well worth the price. But I will do something else for you. This is the price that I set it at, and it's well worth the price. But I will give you something in addition to the painting. I'll give you the preliminary sketches. You'll get all that. And then I also say, I'll give you the framing at cost, at my cost. So you don't have to go to an expensive framer. That's another glitch. Is people will buy a print from you or buy a painting, and then if they say, well, I got to go to a framer and spend $200 on a frame. Well, they don't have to with me, because I started my own framing business because of that, because it was way too expensive. The professional framers multiply the materials by 7 times. 7 times. I multiply it by 2. And if I really want to sell the work, I give them the frame free. So I got a chop saw and a clean out from my brother, a house clean out, for $200. So I have a $2,000 chop saw I got for $200. So I have that in the V-nail machine. And I get the mats cheaper, all cut, than if I were to buy the mat board and cut them myself. In a place in Baldwin, Stewart, it's on the list.
Yeah.
All the things are on the list, the contacts are on that list. Stewart, but you have to order in bulk. 50, 25, 50 of all the same mats. And that's another thing. I do all standard sizes. If they don't want me to frame it, they can go to Michael's and get a cheap frame. But I could probably frame it for the same price as they buy the cheap frame from. So that's another thing. Galleries. I don't go into galleries because they want 50%. I'm not going to give 50. This painting sold for $100,000. This one. That is my big number piece. I'm not going to give a gallery 50%. I did have to give a decorator $2,000 because they gave me a contact. So I gave them $2,000. But
Elaine, I got a question. Who purchased the painting?
he doesn't want to be known, but he is a developer, billionaire in Long Island.
Trump.
I also did his house.
Somebody said Trump over here.
His house portrait. It wasn't Trump, not yet. That's another thing. Let's see.
Is that the original size?
What?
Is that the original size of the painting?
No, these are reduced to fit it in a
What was the original
24
size?
by 36 frame. So, but the original paintings are 24 by 36. The painting, this is all hand painted, the lettering, even the trophies. This trophy is hand painted, and this is all hand painted, all the lettering. You can look at that close up. Yeah. And on the back it's another one. So, when you go into a gallery, getting back to the galleries, you should always have a written contract. And in this book, is the book? Is the book?
Yes, right here.
Yeah, in the book is the contracts. And you can just alter it to your own specifications. You put the CD in the computer, and if you're not computer savvy, just type it up from the legal form that's in here. There's all kinds of letters in here. This is a wonderful book. But there's a list of books there, of different legal books.
Is that the best one?
That's the best one. Yeah.
Where'd you get that from?
That's the most recent. I bought it from Amazon.com. Yeah, but some of these books you can get used, and for about $4 plus shipping. So I buy used books now. And that's how I learned how to paint, was from books. Because I hadn't been painting I was competing against people who had been painting for 30 years, and I had to look like I was painting when I got that one commission. And ask them in the galleries how are they going to display and how are they going to promote your work. Some of these galleries out east take paintings, too many paintings, and just leave them in the cellar. Well, how are they going to promote it? Are you going to give me a reception? It's always nice to have an artist reception. And then other exhibits. You can exhibit in restaurants, art centers, sidewalk shows. That's where now, people have a tendency not to buy right on the spot if it's a big money piece. They want to think about it. But they have the card and say, well, that's all right. You don't pressure them. Keep me in mind, and you can always call me, and you always come back and look at it. But it may be gone, because people are looking at these all the time. So if you really, there was a guy that wanted this painting. I had it for $44,000 at Nassau Coliseum at a show. I think it was a home improvement show or something I went into. And he wanted it, but he left the show and forgot all about it. So then I sold the painting for $100,000.
Wow.
But that was after I got the commissions, because that's the #1 golf commission in the world. That's why the painting sold for $100,000, because I had the other.
How did you come up with $100,000?
What?
How did you come up with that money?
Because I figured out how many hours I worked on it, and I put in like 350 hours on it, and that's what I came up with.
So you basically charge by the hour for you?
Yeah, yeah, that's what I came up with. I wasn't going to settle for anything less, because
So how much you charge per hour?
at that point, I think I had 3 or 4 other U.S. Open commissions. That's the #1 golf commission in the world. Other artists were trying to get that. So that's why it justified that price.
So basically, what were you charging an hour for yourself?
When?
What were you charging an hour?
I don't know. I remember at the time, I figured out 350 hours. It was a lot of time.
$30 an hour.
Yeah.
Here.
Because I was just learning how to paint on this one. You know, this is, but it's, each one of the paintings tells a story.
Yes.
All my paintings tell a story. This is the 16th, 17th hole in 2001. This was in the World War II era when there was a gas shortage, and the golfers, that was from an old photograph I did that painting. And that's from 1937, a tournament there.
So for some of the people in the back.
Yeah, you can pass it around.
Okay.
Okay, so getting back to your exhibits. Now at art shows, no eating in the booth. Don't be shoveling down a hot dog with mustard running off of it. My husband always brings me a hot dog whenever I'm going to shop. And he said, mustard and sauerkraut, and I just put it aside. I said, when I can take a break, I'll take the hot dog and I'm going to stand over there and you stand here. I'll eat the hot dog over there. I'm not going to eat it here. You stand off to the side. Sometimes he stands here like this. I said, get out of the way. You're blocking the artwork. And he's a big guy. He blocks a lot of painting. So you're blocking too much artwork. So, never block your artwork. And always face the traffic that's going by. You only have seconds to grab a customer. As I said before, don't chit-chat with someone when customers are there and hand out your business card. And put prices on everything. And the guy that walked away from this at $44,000 saw me at another show, a golf show. And he says, oh, I'm kicking myself. I didn't get that painting. And then you sold it for all that money. And he said, what are you working on next? And I had a pencil sketch of this painting. I'll pass this around.
I love this one.
Yeah, thank you. I had a pencil sketch of that. Just the woman.
Is this the one that's down at Timber Point?
Yeah. Yeah, it was just a woman, and I had it on a little easel, just a tissue paper sketch. And he says, what are you working on next? I said, well, that's what I'm working on next. And he says, well, how much is the painting when the painting's done? I said, it's $5,000. My husband was looking at me, why is she talking to this guy so much? I said, it's $5,000. So he said, do you take credit cards? I said, yes. So I said, when the painting's done, I'll call you. But he paid for it on the spot. But I called it, but I said to him, well, what do you want in the background? He said, well, I'll leave it up to you. So I knew that Timber Point had that water in the background. Card, yeah, and it was nearby, and I liked that, so I went down there and I photographed it. So then I got back on the telephone and I said to him, I'm going to do Timber Point. That's what I'm putting in there is Timber Point. He said, really? He's from Nassau County. He says, I go there every Wednesday. That's where I play golf.
Oh, wow.
So he bought the painting, and he bought like 6 other paintings from me.
Wow.
He's a collector. Commissioned works. The way I do a commission work is they have to sign a contract, a third on the signing of the contract of the agreement, a third when I give them the sketch, and they have to approve the sketch and sign off on it, because they can't say, well, I didn't want that in there. I said, this is what you approved. So then, and the third, when they come to pick up the painting, but they don't get the painting in their hands until I get the last third on that. Press releases, I think we went over that. I said, it's free publicity. You don't have to pay for it because you're an artist. People want to hear about artists. You are news. When you're doing something new, it's news. It's a news story. But you have to make it look like it's a news story. So I said, go for it. Someone will print it.
Who?
Well, you send it out to all the local newspapers. You send it out to the radio stations. You send it out to the TV stations. Now, not everyone's going to pick up on it, but some of them, like the Suffolk County News here,
They do.
they print the whole story. They don't even change a word because they don't have to pay somebody to go out and do the story. They don't have to pay a writer to do it and give them an image too. So, I mean, an example is you throw out 50 press releases and like a bowl of spaghetti, that you throw it up against the wall and some of it's going to stick.
Yeah.
And I know that works because my brother did that once. I was visiting him up in Monticello, and I came in the kitchen and there was spaghetti hanging from the wall. I said, what is that? And my sister-in-law said he got angry, and I I didn't take it down because I wanted you to see what he did. And that spaghetti does stick on the wall. I know that, so somebody's gonna print it. But like with the US Opens, I'll send out a press release and they'll hang on to it for maybe a month. I send it to all the newspapers all over Long Island, Nassau and Suffolk County, and also the New York Times. It's very hard to get in the New York Times. They're really snooty.
Who in particular do you send them to? I mean, any particular departments or something like that, or just?
The editor?
Well, you call up and find, yeah, the editor. You call up and find out who the contact person is to send a press release to. That's what you do. And just make it short, like 1, 2, 3 paragraphs. Contact information.
Use that KISS formula, right?
What?
The KISS formula, keep it simple?
Yes, yes, yeah. Yeah. So, but what I said was, they didn't all print it at one time. Some of these newspaper conglomerates in Nassau County had 10 newspapers. And they might put it in all 10 newspapers. But, I mean, out here, we don't have conglomerates like that, but there's dance papers or there's South Shore Press. And, but papers picked up at different times, like a month later. So people said, well, I just saw you in the newspaper. I didn't send in anything, but it was the same press release. 6 months later, I found the same press release appearing in the newspapers. It must be newsworthy, who, what, where, when. Develop a media list. What you got to do is call up and find out who the person to contact. You email them, or you can fax too, but email and fax. If it's really impressive, you can send them a hard copy, but they don't really do that anymore. You get to know the reporters. Lead times, Newsday has to have 3 weeks in advance for being in a calendar of events. It has to be 3 weeks in advance, otherwise they throw it in the garbage. That's for calendar of events. But that's a home run. If you get in Newsday on a calendar of events, it's a home run. It's going out to 400,000 people. And if you want to send out invitations for anything, and then you could develop a website. I already talked about the framing. The framing is very important, that it doesn't detract from the painting, but it goes with the painting, the one that you're selling. But then say that I offer this in another frame, other frames, or whatever frames you want. The reference books, I left you a list of reference books. These are older books, but go to the library. Each one of these has something different. And go to the library and buy a book, not buy a book, but take out a book on publicity. It'll tell you exactly how to write a press release. I didn't get known by somebody coming after me. The only way that I became known on this was I wrote my own press, and they picked up on it. The United States Golf Association didn't even give me press on any of these. I sent out my own press releases. So if you get a book on publicity in the library, they'll show you exactly how to write the press release, and you find and write a media list of contacts. That magazine, do you have that magazine, Jerry?
Yes, I do.
I get that, I was going to bring a copy, I forgot
This is a
it.
magazine that I
just
get
thought-
every
This is
month.
fantastic, this magazine. It has all
Yes.
kinds of good stories in there.
A
On
lot of
how to
good
be a
information.
professional artist.
Professional artist,
Yeah.
and if you could order it, get it in your mailbox, they send it to you, and there's a lot of good stories and information.
It's also national shows in the back.
Yes, I'll pass it around, you want to look at it? Sure.
Now, also in that book that I passed around, it has, there's a section in there that talks about, that may not be in there, I don't know, New York legislation. New York is specific on limited edition prints. You have to have a number system and a certificate on a limited edition print. You have to put the number on there. you look at this one.
It's on one of the cards, the note card.
Yeah, yeah, but it has to have the number, and on the back, you have to have a certificate, and you have to keep a record of how many prints were made, what the printing process was, if it was a living artist, all those things have to be on there.
Now,
For
that's
New York
not
State
the-
law,
That's not for G Clays, is it?
yes,
That's for G Clays also?
yes,
Uh-huh.
G-clays and prints.
Besides etchings or...
If you're gonna call it a limited edition print,
Uh-huh.
it has to have that information on there. And on the front, you do it in pencil.
You printed these?
Yeah, I printed those on the computer.
The date's not right.
What?
The date's not right.
Oh, the date's not right. Oh, oh dear. That's not a good example. Give me that one back. Take this one. That's another one.
Okay. This is better.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very nice.
Even this was one of my first pieces of commercial work I did in 1957. My kid, you can pass that around. I just started selling them.
Adorable.
Is that scratch on?
Scratch board.
Yeah.
So New York broke new ground with 1990 amendment about their legislation on contracts on limited edition. But it's all in these books. I didn't have time to make a copy of that. Now, here's another thing. I photograph people and pets to do paintings. But this is my grandson who's in the Marines right now, but I didn't need a model release. But it is a model release. If you're going to photograph people that you're going to paint and put in your painting, you need to get a model release from them because...
Even if you're doing a portrait?
No, if you're going to put them into a painting, like Norman Rockwell
Okay,
put people into his paintings. Norman Rockwell set people up in costumes and set up the whole setting and photographed it and then drew from that.
Right.
So a model release to cover you on that. And then as far as copyright, you should put the date, the copyright symbol, and your name when you're doing a copyright. Now, they say you don't have to file for copyright. If you take a photograph or if you do a painting, it's automatically copyrighted under your name. Except, what I heard from an attorney was that if you go to sue somebody and you don't have a copyright. So if it's something that you really want, it only costs $35. You send 2 copies of it to Washington and you send the paperwork in and you get a copyright on it. So the most important thing is perseverance. You know, I don't give up. I don't take no for an answer. Anyway, yeah. When I'm dealing with government officials, they eat out of my hand. No, but I'm just kidding. But I don't take no for an answer.
It's
I
true.
really don't.
It's true, you got the air conditioner.
Well, with this one, yeah, with this one, in the long run, I outsold Leroy Neiman by far, and he was the least selling artist ever. But I made a killing on this one, yeah. And I'm still selling that to this day because it's a limited edition, it's not a dated piece. And I sell that print for $125. And when I was put in the frames, I could charge between $100 and $225 for the frame, depending on the frame for that piece.
Who does your printing?
Well, there were different printers that I think that was official or, no, Coral Color in Hopong. I go and I inspect their plant, I see what their printing looks like, and then I ask them to bid on the job. 3 printers. But I have to see what their printing looks like. And another thing is, I'm on press when the job is being printed.
They're there.
Yeah, I have to prove the proofs that are coming off because something always goes wrong 100% of the time.
Do they do the camera work also?
Well, no. You mean the the photograph. No, I have a guy over in Hauppauge. He's on the board of the East End Arts Council. John Lennon, or Lennon. His father's name is John. His first name is something different. But Lennon, Lennon photographers over there. So he will photograph the piece. But now I have, that's the only ones that I have done over there. Now I have a high-end scanner, and this piece, yeah, this I scanned in 4 different pieces, and you can pass that around. And I got my own scan done. It was $2,600 for the scanner, but I can scan, but not this big. These are too big to be. I have to have them photographed, and it's a high-end scan. And he adjusted. He's such a professional. He's one of the top photographers on Long Island, and he gives artists a break. He really does. He didn't charge me a lot of money to do. What did he do? He did the women's open.
Where is he located?
Hauppauge. Lennon, his name is, like John Lennon. Oh, he did this one. This is, you can pass this around. He did this photograph.
That's beautiful.
Well, yeah.
So how is this printed? Is this sheet clay, or is this just?
No, it's on a printing press. So then I get the scan back on a CD. And then I put the type in that's below the image. And this type. But on this, I hand lettered that. This is hand lettered. The trophy is all hand painted. The lettering on here is all hand painted.
Not at the bottom though.
Not on the bottom, no.
Hand
So
painted on the, not on the print.
I painted this. This is all hand painted.
On the print?
Yeah, on the painting.
On the
On the
original
painting. Yeah, this is all on the painting. Yeah, this is all hand painted. Even the logos are hand painted. It's not computer generated. So, and then the last, and then give back to the community. Because if you donate to something, always put your business cards out if you're donating to something. Or if you don't want to donate, say, well, cover the cost of the materials. Just, I mean, you know, give me $100 for this and you could sell it for $300. Give me something. I'm the artist. You know, people expect artists to, that's another thing. People expect artists to give away. The artists are the charity. You're taking money, food out of the mouths of the artists if you're asking them to contribute. That rubs me really the wrong way. They're always asking artists, these wealthy people, who will give me something and let me set up at your display. Or let me put out my cards and I'll stand there and hand out my cards. And then it's worth it. The last thing is about insurance. I have an insurance policy. It used to cost me $350, now it costs me $425 a year to cover me at shows. If somebody trips over a painting, or if some of these shows, it's mandatory that you have an insurance policy. The USGA says I have to have my own insurance policy. So it's $425 a year now. But high-end shows, you have to have an insurance policy and you cover yourself on that. So that's it on there. And then on the list of, and look over this press release. The list is of reference books that I've worked with. These are older books, but you can get newer books. You look it up in the library. The Professional Artist magazines, that's the magazine that Jared had. It's excellent magazine. I recommend it to everyone. It tells you all of it. It'll have stories in there on copyrights. It'll have stories about how to deal with galleries, how to get into galleries, all kinds of stories all the time. And then I buy the art books on Amazon.com. I used to buy them through Northlight Books, but they're expensive. So I look them up on Northlight Books and see what they're all about, and then I'll buy them on Amazon.com.
What kind of insurance company do you use?
It's a liability, Hartford, I think it is. Yeah, liability
Oh, I don't
insurance.
like cards.
That's what we have that in Travelers.
Have you ever
So
had,
if the club has an insurance policy, it
Yes.
probably covers
Yes.
everyone.
Elaine,
Yes.
have you ever had to use the insurance or?
No, only for my nephew. He fell down the
These-
stairs.
The insurance covers like the shows that.
Liability.
Everywhere we go,
Yeah.
Bellport, they want to make sure that we have
Uh-huh.
the insurance policy, liability,
Yeah,
to
very
cover
good.
somebody while they're in there, because they're not responsible for
They
that.
can pour a rack over.
So on this list, it shows you, tells you about where to get the supplies, printing. This is inexpensive printing. I don't remember what this U printing is, but it must have been a reason why I put it on there. But I use mostly psprint.com on small printing of the note cards. And then I take the note card and I put it in the frame. Yeah, these I sell for $20. It has the history on the back. It's not a limited edition. I sell them for $20. It cost me $5. So I'm making $15.
Wow.
Frame. $5. It cost me $5.
Where do you get a frame for $5?
I
Buy
make
the
the
stuff.
frames.
You make it.
Yeah, I
You
buy the glass.
stuff.
I buy the boxes of glass. I buy it in length. And my husband cuts the wood and puts it together and put it in the frame.
My husband used to do
So that's what I
Can we hire you?
So that's your list there, and the only other thing that I could say is that if somebody, I don't have copies of this, how artwork finds its owner, they have to be compelled, they have to love it, they have to have some kind of a personal connection in order to buy that piece of artwork. It could be as much as an escape from reality or a calming effect on them. There's a whole article, this I got in that magazine. This was, this was about how artwork finds its owner. It's all, this whole article. There's just a couple of paragraphs here. Get your work out of the studio as much as possible so others can see it and interact with it, in person or online, to increase the chance of being in the right place at the right time. Art speaks to people on different levels, and the relationship between the owner and the artwork will develop and deepen over time as they live with each other. But, oh, and then here's another thing, is a holiday wish list. If you're at an event, write up a holiday wish list, because somebody doesn't want to buy it for themselves, but they'd like to have their family chip in. I've had families chip in to buy something for Father's Day or buy something for Dad. These older men have everything already. And so what do you buy them? You buy them something with a personal signature on, something that they really want. So the older man or older woman or younger woman can write on here, this is what I want, and contact my family on the holidays. And then I have a price list that I give out at some events. So they know exactly what each size is and how much it is. There's no guesswork. This is what it is. This is the price list. And that's it. Do you have any questions?
Yes.
Yes.
When you make a painting and you sell the painting, can you make prints of that painting after it's been bought?
That's a very important question. The artist always maintains rights to the painting, even a photographer maintains the rights, always has the rights to the painting, unless they sign off a written agreement saying that they're signing off the rights to it. Now, I sign agreements with the USGA license agreements just for one particular purpose, for the poster. But I could sign an agreement with them for mugs or something else, just for that. But I maintain the rights all the time. I never give away the rights. I think I said at a meeting one time, some guy, I did a painting of John Heisman, and this guy wanted me to sign away the rights to him. And he said, my daughter just wrote this up. She's an attorney. I said, I'm glad you brought that up. I said, I have my own agreement that I want you to sign. that I have the rights to this, and I'm not signing away the rights to this painting. This is my painting, and I will sign a contract for you to make prints, but I have maintained the rights. And he said, well, then I'm not buying the painting. He said, I'm not buying the painting. I said, fine, I'll sell it to someone else. So he went home, he went out the door. 2 weeks later, he called me. I just changed my mind. I don't want you to sign that paper. I'll sign your paper. So then he picked up the painting. I could have sold that
Now,
painting.
if you gave your rights away, what does that mean?
It means that you cannot print from that. They have the rights for it. They have like the copyright.
And they could print it and
Yeah, you're
sell
not
it
allowed to
and-
make prints.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I make prints of every painting.
What if somebody buys an original and they don't want any prints made of it? Like
Well,
they
then
want
you
the
triple the
exclusive.
price.
Oh, I see.
Okay, I'll give you you can have the rights to it, but the price is triple. No,
Good point.
yeah,
Because you'll lose all the money for the prints.
yeah, yeah.
I see.
Elaine,
Yeah.
Good point.
yes,
I'm a business person. I've
Yeah.
always been a business person because that's the way I grew up. My mother was a real estate broker.
this one teacher I had, and she told us how she sold her paintings of New York City to a person who was supposed to put them on mugs and all, and give her royalties as they're being sold.
Uh-huh.
And as it turned out, she never heard any royalties. You know, it just didn't come back to her. In fact, I saw her work on mugs and things in Schubert's Alley in a souvenir shop. Well, she went to a lawyer about it, and he said, you know, the legal costs of trying to get any money out of her are, you know, it's impossible.
See, I don't use lawyers because they're expensive. But what I have is a contract. I have legal contracts. And my legal contracts I found in that book. And they have to sign the contract.
Do they have to
Now,
have a
did she
witness?
sign the contract?
I don't know what the deal was.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is when you're dealing with any businesses, you have to give them a contract, and it has to be in your favor, not in their favor, otherwise you don't cut a deal.
Now, what about another
I'm sorry.
artist? I
Do
don't.
you have
sorry.
to have a witness and a notary?
No, I never did. But that's a good idea. That's a great idea.
Another artist I know, she told us how her work, she put some of it on the computer, and it was, a friend went to Europe and came back and said, you know, your paintings are all over Europe on a calendar. And they took them off the computer and it made a calendar, sold them like in Europe or.
Well, when you put a painting on the computer, you only do a 72 DPI. So that when they blow
Right.
it up, it
Yeah,
looks
it's all
terrible.
pixelated, yes.
Looks terrible.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
And
but-
it's very hard to fight anything out of the United States.
Yes, Elaine, I was gonna, what you said was correct, stating that any type of artist, as long as they have that copyright to it, they'll get the royalties, whereas a lot of artists, whatever profession, whether it was music or fine art, if they don't have that,
You have a
Same
better
with that.
case if you have a copyright. But she was doing business with them, and you have to have a contract. And then in the contract, you have to be able to audit their books to see how many have been
Yes.
sold. You have to have the right to do that in the contract. Because otherwise, how are you going to know?
That's true.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So you-
Oh.
Any more questions? Am I
Yes,
boring you?
yeah.
No.
Do you make prints of everything you do?
Yes, yes. Because, you see, I brainstorm a painting before I do it. I just don't paint indiscriminately. I go for the money, and I paint what's going to sell, but also what I like. But I paint what I know is going to, and I ask people, what do you want me to paint next? And for years, people asked me to paint this painting, the Montauk Lighthouse. I don't know how many people, I would say 50 people asked me to paint Montauk Lighthouse. So finally one day I said, I'm going to go out there. This was 4th of July. It was very, very hot. My husband was tearing down the swimming pool. I said, I'm going out to Montauk today. I'm going to photograph the Montauk Lighthouse on the 4th of July. When I hit Southampton, there was a parade. It took me 4 hours to get Montauk. So I came back, I had one photograph that was good, one out of all the photographs, walking around the rocks and everything, and one photograph that was that spot. So I said, you know, everybody paints Montauk. You have to brainstorm it. Everyone paints Montauk, but how am I going to paint it so they love it more than all the other paintings? I said, you know, I have a book on Van Gogh. Maybe I could do a sky and a Van Gogh look. I'm thinking of Van Gogh. So I painted all of this almost in realism, but just a little bit of black outline on it. The center portion of these paintings is in realism, but then around it, I painted like a Van Gogh style.
Like
So-
they thought.
So my husband came into my studio and I was working on the painting about a week, and he looked at the swirls and all. He said, "What the hell is that?" I said, "Well, I'm painting like Van Gogh, Van Gogh with the swirls." He said, "Who the hell is Van Gogh?" I said, he's a painter that got a lot of money for his work. So,
Actually, he never.
Actually, he didn't know.
Everybody
no,
else
I mean
did.
now,
Now.
yeah. So what I did, you know what got this on the planet? A Newsday reporter had done a story for me, I think, on this. And it was Christmas time, so I sent him a Christmas card, holiday card with this on, this picture. And, or maybe I had produced the cards already. He called me on the phone and he said, "I love that painting." He said, "I'm going to do that as my feature story, the first story of the new year." I said, "Oh, that's good." I got so many calls throughout the year. People saved that article throughout the year because of that newspaper article. But another quick story. I said I'd love to see Van Gogh. Van Gogh was in the city, and I was busy, and I knew it was in the...
He's dead, sorry.
It was in the MOA, yeah. So the Starry Night was in there, and I was busy and for days and weeks. I said, "When is that over?" It was like 7 degrees out, and I ran down to my computer and looked on the computer on a Sunday morning and said, "Oh my God, the show's over tomorrow. I have to go today." So I tried to get tickets online. I said, "I'll jump on the train, I'll go into the city, I'll get tickets." This is where perseverance comes in. I said, "I gotta go today." So I couldn't get the tickets. They said, "You have to just show up." So I ran upstairs, I woke my husband up out of bed, and he hates the city. I said, "Please, please go with me. You'll love the show, we'll have a great lunch." So, oh, okay. So we took the train in. Then we took a subway or something up there, and we got there. It was freezing cold out, 7 degrees out, and there's a long line. He doesn't like lines. Does not do well at lines. So we're waiting on the line to get in. Then all of a sudden, a woman comes out. "Hey, Wally World is closed. Anybody here for the Van Gogh show? You have to come back tomorrow." He looked at me. And he said, "Don't you plan?" I said, "Well, I just realized that it was, I didn't know, So I just stood there and I cried. I was standing there bawling, crying. Not because I'm not going to see the show. It's the next 2 hours I have to spend on the train. Going back. So.
Now, isn't the Starry Night there all the time?
No, it was the last day of the show, the next day.
It was
So I said, "I'll just go in the bookstore and get a book." He said, "Do you want to see that exhibit?" No. I said, "I'm too upset. I'll just go in and get a book." So I got 3 books on Van Gogh, and I'm going to the cash register. And I said, the girl's giving me a sales pitch. "You want to become a member?" I said, "Well, what are the benefits? Tell me what the benefits." "Well, you can get into the shows free, and I can give you a 25% discount on this books, and you can bring in a guest for $5. I said, "Can I get into the Van Gogh show today?" And she said, "Sure, we'll treat you like a VIP."
Wow.
Bought the books. I got the membership. It only cost me $20 more than if I run in.
The next
So I ran outside, and he's steaming, walking up and down that. I said, I'm going like this to him. I said, come on, we're going in. He said, how did you get in? He said, there's no other tickets left. I said, I pulled some strings. So we went in. We didn't have to wait online. People had reserved spots. We didn't have to wait online. I just had to give them the $5. You go up to the second floor. There's people waiting on time slots online. Oh no, you remember? Okay, you go right in. So then we looked at the painting. The painting was there. It's big painting. The paint is this thick.
Yeah.
And he says, you know, Elaine, you paint Van Gogh better than Van Gogh does. So that's the end of my story. That was perseverance. It just happened that, you know.
Yeah.
I have one thing. If anybody really would like to see your place, it's,
My store.
you'll never forget. You'll never forget it when you see it.
Yeah, we'll have to have,
Yeah, it'd be
yes,
nice.
they can come
Really
anytime.
nice.
Yeah.
Just call her.
Yeah, so I hope I covered everything for you, but
It's very good.
the important thing is press releases, business cards.
Yes.
Remember, even if it's a relative, that 5-year-old child was a customer. She didn't have a pocketbook. And then what are the odds of me meeting her at that classroom 2 weeks ago?
Yes.
She's just crazy.
Yeah.
That was a great class, though. They were so well behaved, those kids. The Catholic school in
St.
Patras.
Francis.
Well, it's St. Francis, but they call it
Good,
something else.
Angels.
Angels, yeah, yeah. Those kids were just so engrossed in anything I was saying. They didn't talk, they asked questions, they were so attentive, and they were third graders.
Wow.
These were third graders. And then last week I spoke at eighth graders out in Southampton. They were a little rowdy, but they were good, those kids. They developed a website, they want to sell t-shirts. So I was helping them sell t-shirts. So that's it. If you have any other questions, just ask me. I didn't learn from anything, I just do the research on everything. I do research when I do paintings. I do research when I want to find out about something. And people say, oh, she gets a lot of press. The only way I get press is I generate the press myself. I put it out there myself.
You're the best agent that you can have.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I don't have to pay an agent.
Yes.
Are you still doing the golf thing?
Yeah, I was at a golf course yesterday. I was doing North Shore Country Club. I toured it in the high winds for 2 hours yesterday.
It was very hard.
High winds out in South Hall. I was out at Country. So, I have to, whatever you don't remember, just look at the notes.
Yep. Very good, excellent. Wonderful.
Thank you so much, Elaine.
Is it-